Really balled out.
Really balled out, eh? Well, welcome to the show, Jared. You're officially our third guest on Murph Talks Business, and
Third guest.
we're happy to have you here. So, just in case the audience doesn't know and everyone out there watching, so Jared's got a artificial turf and specialized putting green brand and business that he grew up from the beginning. And some of the things that we'll dive into is Jared took a very interesting shift when he moved from the white collar in the investment banking world and decided he was going to take it to himself, take his own authority and initiative to go start his own business, move to the Okanagan, and as he'll refer sometimes, the king of turf around here, the sheriff of the Okanagan. If I could give you that name, if you want to coin that, but yeah, Jared,
Oh,
tell me a little more about
father of
your
modern turf.
father of modern turf. Tell me a little more about your kind of your story and how you got here.
To where I am right now.
Yeah.
Well, I think it comes down to wanting to have more control of my own life and destiny in starting a business.
Mm.
And ultimately, for a long time, I was chasing what I thought I had to chase as somebody that went to New York University, went through a prestigious business program, and thought I have to be a consultant. I have to be an investment banker or something of the like.
Mm-hmm.
And then realizing that I was always entrepreneurial. So at a certain point in time, I decided I'm either gonna find a company that I believe in, a brand, or I'm gonna make my own thing. And if I succeed, it's all my doing. And if I fail, it's also all my doing.
Yeah.
It's not at the hand of somebody else's bottom line. And that's how I became a business owner. How I became into turf was a whole other
Yeah.
thing, and it was kind of a stroke of luck.
Mm.
And I wanted one to do something with my hands. I loved to, I did landscaping as a kid. I liked to be outdoors. Like to, just solve problems in terms of like I would, for example, where I lived in Toronto, I could have hired somebody to install the glass doors in my bathroom,
Yeah.
but I just did it myself.
I figured.
So
Yeah.
I could figure it out. I was good with tools and equipment, and I also believed that synthetic grass was a growing industry and
Yeah.
something in demand. And in moving to Kelowna from Toronto, I knew that it was a great product for this market.
Mm.
And Kelowna is where I wanted to set up shop, ultimately grow a life and have a life. And synthetic turf is what I chose to do.
Yeah. And you lived here back when you were a kid too, right? Really briefly?
I came here in 2008 to go to Hockey Academy,
Okay.
Pursuit of Excellence Hockey
Nice.
Academy, and lived here for a year. And I also lived in Penticton for a year, where I was pretty academic. And then from there, I went to boarding school in Massachusetts at a place called Deerfield Academy,
Mm-hmm.
which is quite prestigious.
Yeah, for
And
sure.
I was a student athlete, and that's when I played hockey, and then I went to NYU from there. And in doing that, I went to NYU in China as an
Mm.
inaugural student.
I think a lot of people don't know there's an NYU
There
Shanghai,
is. There
right?
was an NYU
Yeah.
Shanghai,
Yeah.
and I wanted, at the end of the day, I wanted a university experience that was highly unique. Um, Otherwise, I would have went to some school in Canada.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, even though nowadays I don't really use my degree for anything
Yeah.
at all,
Mm-hmm.
it taught me how to think. It taught me how to think, um, but I could have not gone to business school
Oh.
and learned how to install turf.
Yeah, for sure.
But at the end of the day, I did meet some fantastic people and had an experience that most people do not get in university, which is starting a school from scratch as an inaugural student.
Yeah.
Which is really, I had the itch to be an entrepreneur because of the experience I had in university
Hmm.
as a
Yeah.
first student in a foreign country, learning a new language and almost figuring out my class schedule in trial.
Mm-hmm.
Zero mentorship from older students who were trying, what's course to take? I don't know.
Yeah.
How do I prepare for this investment banking internship? I don't know. versus,
Yeah.
you know, being in New York, for example, you had those students basically coaching you, so you could figure out what's the right one to take. We were just figuring out the whole time, which is really what you are doing as an entrepreneur.
Yeah, it's no
You're
different.
just figuring it out.
Yeah, yeah,
And then, that's kind of how I got to where I am now.
yeah. And it's funny, like the problem solvers of the world tend to have that innate discovery within them. I need to solve something, or some part of my life made me know that I had to do something here. Whether that comes now or in a decade from now, or for some people to kick the can down further down the road, I think you do eventually find that this is where I
Yeah,
need to be.
not
Yeah,
entrepreneurship is not for everyone. There
yeah,
is something enjoyable about getting a check every 2 weeks for showing up and doing your job.
yeah,
Um, assuming you're working for a good company that pays you and whatnot. But when you're running your own show, you may not actually get a check for a month,
hmm,
and you still got to work, right? And it's a very different feeling. But when you get those wins, when I sell a job, I'm like
yeah.
it's like
It feels
scoring a
good.
goal in hockey.
Yeah,
Um, is that you get that same rush when you finish a job and you can, quite frankly, um, sign a contract that you just could have dreamed about doing a few years ago.
hmm,
That's why you do it, and you get that feeling of ownership.
yeah. And you got to take some risks, right? You got to put
Yeah.
yourself out there. Like I always use baseball because I like that as an analogy. Like business is as if you were playing baseball. In that sport, the most runs you can score is
Mhm.
four, right? You're loaded, you hit a home
Yeah.
run, you've got four. Business, if you're swinging for the fences, you're gonna miss a lot of shots. But when you hit a home
Mhm.
run, like you can hit 100 runs
Yeah.
on one shot
Yeah.
if you're good at what you do.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's for sure. I think I've had my share of misses.
Yeah.
Just learning as you go, but particularly with employees, um, building a good culture. Those are things that I've learned the hard way. But
Hmm.
I'm next phase of growth is built with a lot of structure.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, maybe dive into the insight of where you guys started with Synscape. So we'll go year one, which you and I know I was a part of at that time, which was a pretty cool time in my life. It was
yeah,
very growth. I was fortunate to have
yeah,
Jarred as someone to work alongside,
yeah.
and I'll let you tell the rest of the story. But I think it was our first job on site. We were loading a loader up a ramp, and the ramp
Broke.
broke on us,
Yeah,
and Jarred was probably 2 inches away from cracking his leg in half.
yeah.
Right? Talk about risk.
Yeah, well,
First
that
report.
I almost forgot that ever happened. But yeah,
Yeah,
you anything can go wrong on a job site, so you need to be
yeah,
planning ahead, and um, you're not going to go into the work safe DC road of things,
yeah,
but
yeah. Maybe walk through that.
we started Synscape with a $6,000 truck. That was a yellow highway truck, and it worked. It got the
Mhm.
job done. We ran our first year with a yellow truck. I mean, really faking it till we made it
Yeah,
the whole time.
for sure.
That said, I wasn't really faking my skill. Um, Before I laid a square foot of turf in Kelowna, I went to Arizona. I worked for free
Mm.
as a laborer with a group of Mexican laborers that, quite frankly, I was the only one on the crew not getting paid.
Yeah,
But the only way you could learn how to install turf was through repetition and practice. And how was I going to start installing turf with any credibility in Kelowna without installing turf?
hmm,
So that winter, I worked for free for over a month, slept on my buddy's couch, and these laborers were kind of shocked
yeah,
that I was still hauling wheelbarrow,
yeah,
still breaking my back, still working in the sun, all for free just to learn. Because the only way I was going to learn was to work for free, because I
yeah.
couldn't actually legally work in the States, and going to Arizona was the heartland of turf. So
Mm.
by the time I finished that and started installing turf in Canada, I knew more than, and I installed more turf than the average person installed here, anyways, in their
Yeah,
entire season the 2 years before. So that was kind of how we started,
yeah,
and just slowly been growing from there. And I think now that truck is white. We've painted it.
the truck is white.
It has my brand and logo on the side. Um, you know, it is a 2001 7.3 liter diesel truck. It's a beast. and we're looking to get a new truck.
Yeah. So the truck is a testament of
a
progress.
$90,000 truck. You know,
Yeah.
it's just a
Yeah.
different, you know. But you got to really think critically. Is it the right time to buy a new truck? You know, I do think it would reflect our brand.
Mhm.
You know, we're now installing and trusted to install for the highest end builders in Kelowna,
Mhm.
and highest end landscapers. They've built relationships with us, and they let us pinch hit
Mhm.
when there's something that's complicated.
Yeah.
So, you know, I don't even know what your original question was. I diverted from the
Oh, no, you
workplace
hit it for
safety.
sure. Yeah. So
But
yeah, where you started, which is a great, the truck is a great, it's almost a testament to
yeah,
where we're going.
yeah, and
But where we started, where we are, where we'd like to be.
yeah, and where we are now is we've done over 2 kilometers of seams, and meticulously cut them by hand.
Mhm.
And I haven't given anyone on the crew a knife yet,
Mhm.
and just gave my first knife to one of my employees who's your brother, is going to be stepping up to the plate majorly this year.
Nice.
And given more responsibility. So now we use the knife as it's a kind of a badge of honor.
Yeah.
Some people, you know, I don't even know how other people run their crews, but I know their guys are cutting turf a lot sooner.
Mhm.
And I probably should let people start earlier, but as you know, first time I gave you a knife was the last time I gave you a knife.
Mhm.
So, you know, where we are now is we've done thousands of feet of seams, over 100,000 square feet of turf, over 100 jobs. You know, it's hard to fathom that volume from one crew, with usually 2 helpers.
Yeah. Sometimes less.
Sometimes
Sometimes
less.
less. Yeah.
Sometimes less.
Sure.
And where we're going is just building brand now.
Mm-hmm.
It's time for everyone to see the like what's gone into the hard work of getting to a point of mastering a craft.
Yeah, absolutely.
And just building brand. We haven't spent a single dollar on Google ad spend. We've never done a sponsored ad post. Spent $93 on Facebook ads. Probably a mistake. I don't know where business would be if I was pumping out ad money, but we didn't have a lot of money to blow on ads, because we've been running really lean.
Yeah.
And putting everything back into the business at almost all times.
Yeah.
So now it's time to, everyone needs to know who's the top dog
in town.
Quite frankly.
Who's the sheriff around
here.
here.
Yeah. I mean,
I think a lot of people overcomplicate the business side of that, especially businesses that require a lot of capital up front. Like there's really only 2 things when it comes to revenue. It's revenue and it's cash cycle and cash flow.
Yeah.
That's really it. Like, what am I bringing in the door? What can I front load or back load to have cash into the next job, right? Because to your point, it's not easy when you want to spend on advertisements. I got new tools, I need a new truck.
Yeah.
Like there's 9 other things that need time, attention, and money. But at the same time, you've got this machine you call the business that you need to keep that thing running, right?
Well, I think we all remember the first year, the inventory tie-up.
Yeah, for sure.
I think the one thing that you don't learn in school, and you do learn it, but you learn it in a formula, it's cash conversion cycle or something, is that how quickly you're turning over inventory, and you get tested on it in your accounting class or managerial accounting, and it's just kind of a fugazi thing that until you have to manage it in a business, it's very challenging.
Absolutely.
I started business right after COVID. I thought, we're gonna have a supply chain crisis, is a problem. I don't know what turf's gonna sell, so I bought $100,000 of turf, which was crazy, and thought, oh man, this business is gonna take off so fast. I'm gonna move this inventory quickly. Well, I didn't sell all that inventory. It took me a long time. It took me over a year probably to go through all that inventory because I was buying other stuff on an ad hoc basis that I needed.
Yeah.
That I couldn't just pull from my inventory. So in a time when I really needed money and cash to invest in marketing, I was holding inventory.
Yeah.
And it took me till my second year to fully pay, like not really full pay, I paid it all up, but it held up all the cash in the company in inventory, sitting there. And that cash flow is something that's real.
It's a lot.
And when you're doing a job and all of a sudden you've bought all the inventory, you haven't been paid for the work, but you have to pay your employees, just because it's the right thing to do, but also like you are like they depend on you.
Yeah, for sure.
So I think you're right. We're talking about cash flow. It's the one thing that you don't really understand until you do it. And whatever is in school doesn't mean shit.
Well, yeah, I think in the education system, like we both went to university, it's built for like massive corporate. Like you're
Yeah.
doing cash flow conversion cycles for companies on the S&P 500.
Yeah.
And what most people are working inside of is
Yeah.
I've got me, I've got a crew,
Yeah.
I've got a couple guys. How do we make this thing work?
Yeah.
Right. And yeah, I think that's really important. It's a distinction to make for sure. I want to go back to the basics on turf, how you build turf, seams, like quality of work. You mentioned this, the knife handoff is like this ceremonial.
For me, it is.
And I think that's company culture too. Like you're building a
Yeah.
culture where like if someone has a knife, they're entrusting you. And if you're doing
Yeah.
jobs of this caliber and you're up here, like
Yeah.
your guys that are
They need to take it seriously.
making the $10,000
Yeah.
cuts
Yeah.
better be,
Yeah.
they better know what they're doing, right?
Maybe I take it it's too like maybe I tie too much emphasis on this stuff. Maybe it doesn't matter, and maybe I take it too seriously, and maybe I should just give everyone a knife and let them figure it out as they go, take the losses, and now everyone's got a knife and knows how to cut. That might be one way to do it, but for me, I've just been very careful, with the cutting.
Yeah.
People can cut themselves, but it's more just you can't go back on a cut.
No.
And then you can glue it all back together. But I guess a good install is measured, in my opinion, by the seam work, which it requires like some pretty precision cutting. And at the same time, as a company trying to make profit, it's how much material we don't have to install that other installers may be wasting because they don't have the same skill level. So we're aiming for as minimal waste as possible, which is a function of being able to cut very, very well, right? And having that repetition is important. So having, and also now that we have two people that hold knives, whether the other guy's going to have to build that confidence. But
for sure,
in terms of the art of laying turf, it's all repetition.
Anything.
Anything.
Yeah.
It's the one thing with artificial turf, there's no trade school. You don't go to Okanagan College and get there's no trade school.
Okanagan Turf and Putting Greens.
Yeah.
College, right?
Right.
Not quite.
And I mean, so if there's no trade school, you have to just do turf.
Yeah.
And we've simply just done lots of volume, and made some mistakes along the road, but now it's just like second nature, right? Yeah. What to do here, and how should we cut this so that it's blended?
Yeah.
I know that. I don't even share all these tips, to be honest. It's for me to know and eventually share all this knowledge.
I think as you continue to grow it too.
I'm not going to tell a guy first week of work how to do this perfectly.
Yeah. Well, nor would he be able to
grasp it.
It's the same thing with university.
But you take some time. You got to, we're in a very competitive market.
Yeah.
So, but now I don't fear an employee doing their own thing. I mean, you were my employee. You're not doing turf, but even if you were to be like, I want to start a turf company, then sure.
Yeah.
Go ahead. So I think moving forward, I'm going to be a bit more liberal with sharing certain little shortcuts.
For sure.
But when I was first starting, I was anxious about teaching everyone how to do everything because I went way out of my way to learn these things, and I felt I should gatekeep some stuff.
Yeah.
Because I was nervous that somebody might learn how to do turf in my crew and then start a turf company to compete against me.
I think a lot of business owners worry about that. I would push back on that.
Now I don't. I feel like I know how hard it is. It ain't easy to run any business. So if they want to try their own business, they can come back and work for me when they fail.
I don't know if I put it that way, but
I'm just kidding. But at a certain point in time, like I've seen it happen, like in the landscaping industry, some guys go out on their own. One of the guys I do a lot of work for, one of his foremen went on his own. Yeah. He's now working back for there's just so many moving parts that employees, they don't necessarily understand what's going into keeping them paid. Yeah. Right? Like, that's why I say it's nice to just get your paycheck every 2 weeks for showing up and working hard. Right? But when you're actually the one running the show and we have a job that guy doesn't pay you for 2 months, but your guys are have finished their job, they're going to get paid.
Yeah.
People don't understand what that's like, right? So those are the sides of the business that the employee doesn't really see,
No. Or
and you don't really want them to see sometimes. Like you want them to know that things are smooth.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes, especially you were there in the early days, so you saw the bullshit.
Yeah.
Whereas,
Well, it's part of life, right? And
yeah,
I mean, obviously, when I was starting my own thing, well, working for you, I
yeah,
I did have that on this side, and then on the other side, I
yeah,
went to put up with a bunch of crap in my
yeah,
own world. But
yeah.
I think, like, what's the alternative? Let's walk through that, especially gatekeeping knowledge, because I see that a lot, especially trades guys,
Yeah.
electricians, if they're specialized and they've started their own firm, like they'll be very careful with what they share. But what's the alternative to that? Like you never train someone to
And
the point of
that's the thing is
Like, there's no version of that.
that's where that's why now I don't think that was the right move.
Yeah.
I think, you know, you do need to train people, and I always wanted to train people. Here's the thing: I never didn't want to train anyone. It's just when we started the business, like you didn't really work full time until year 2.
Yeah.
Year 1, you were doing 2 to 3 days a week, and that's all the work we had, right? And then sometimes we were working 5 days a week, right?
More, yeah.
Sometimes we were working more than 5 days a week, but then some days it would like dial down. So we, in the first year, we struggled with getting enough work. We were new, we had no reputation. Year 2, you worked basically full time. And then we hired another guy to work basically the same hours you were working year 1, right? So there was consistency, or at least if you wanted to take a day off, at least there was somebody to step in.
I didn't do that.
No, but let's say
hypothetically,
not taking a day off, or taking,
Yeah.
let's say you had vacation.
Yeah.
Then John would be. So there was always enough work to keep one guy always going.
Yeah.
So now we were running an actual, business. Then year 3, I mean, we doubled our revenue last year, and we had now work for 2 full-time guys. So the first year, it was really kind of hard to train anyone.
Yeah.
It was like, and I mean, I guess I was probably still learning a few things myself, right?
Sure.
So you're not wanting your employee to realize, man, this guy probably doesn't know as much as he says he knows, right? So it's kind of like, do I have anything to train you on? Yeah, but it's still nerve-wracking, especially as a new business. It's like,
for sure.
If you screw up a cut, do I know how to repair that? Year 1, maybe
you could hack something.
together. So I wasn't going to take that risk, right? Now I can repair a cut as it goes. So you're able to train, because it's a lot lower risk. But I think 100% you need to train people.
Yeah.
And now that I'm wanting to expand the business, that's not where it's really important, right? Where it's like you need to train somebody, but also sometimes just let them see how they can do it on their own. Like your brother, he's very good with a rake. Well, that just didn't come from me saying, hey, I'm going to train you how to rake. He just took the rake one day and was super dialed in. And I'm like, damn, like that was good.
Yeah.
Minimal correction.
Yeah.
Right. I don't have to re-rake this area. And then from there, it kind of, but at the same time, quite honestly, you do, like, the employees that you want to stick around are the ones that aren't waiting for you to train them. They just, like, to be honest, I wouldn't mind a guy showing up with a fucking knife and start cutting turf just to see how I'd respond. Saying, well, if he's not going to,
someone who can push
if he's not gonna give me a knife to cut the turf, maybe I should just try it myself. Like, some people, they never really took it upon themselves to, there's about 5 knives in the toolbox. They just never cut turf. But maybe I scared them. I don't know.
Maybe, yeah.
Maybe I should have given them more
Are
freedom.
you a scary guy on the job site, Jarred?
No.
Would your employees say the same thing?
I think they would say I'm pretty relaxed.
Yeah.
It's only when, like, we're in crunch time that it's...
You gotta dial in.
Yeah, I think... I think it's, long story short, you should train your guys. But at the beginning, it was kind of hard to... We were figuring it out a little bit as we went.
Yeah. And man, at the beginning, like, I think with any business, you've just got to buy into the vision that you've created. Like, the fact no one's going to have it figured out day one. That is unrealistic. No. If anyone says that, it's not it's not attainable, and nor would it be. Like the whole
Right.
point of starting and founding that is someone sees what you're doing and how you're thinking. They like where you're going at. Like I'll use John as an example. So one of the things that, like, John is a personal friend of mine, for anyone else who doesn't know. Um, One of the things that he really liked about you, he's like, I see the vision. I see where he wants to go, like where this thing could grow. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
the potential, he sees the potential. He's watching it happen every day. We're meeting with
Right.
people. You're sitting down, you're shaking hands with the homeowners.
Yeah.
Here's the job that we've done. Like the relational aspect, especially in trades, I think is something as a business person you have a huge advantage on
Yeah.
because you have good relationships with a lot of these clients. The referral business in that way, like you cannot underestimate a
Right.
good handoff from someone else that you've done work for. Yeah, it's
Well, we've got
amazing.
customers that we've done 4 projects for the same family.
Yeah.
Um, that, but yeah, like, but we are always constantly figuring out because
Mm.
now that we've done, it's like, okay, your first job, I think your first jobs are a few hundred square feet,
Yeah.
a few seams. Okay, we've succeeded. Now us figuring it out is like a 40-foot seam in the middle of someone's front yard.
Mm. Yeah. And
Like
just for the audience, what is a seam? Like, what does a seam entail?
it's taking 2 pieces of turf.
Actually,
I can
yeah.
show you
Go
a
ahead,
couple
show me that.
samples of turf here. They're all different SKUs, but it's
Just show us
basically
an
if
example.
this was sliced in half, or it wouldn't even be sliced in half, you'd be taking two rolls of turf, putting it together, and blending the turf in a way and gluing it together so that it doesn't look like it's 2 pieces of turf.
Yeah.
It's ultimately making 1 piece of turf out of 2, and making it look as natural as physically possible.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, we're always pushing ourselves, and jobs, they get scarier and scarier and scarier because they're bigger and bigger and bigger.
Mm-hmm.
Or the expectation for perfection at volume is higher, right? So
Yeah, for sure.
obviously building our biggest putting green ever. Well, not the biggest putting green project I've been on, but that I was responsible for the outcome
Yeah, that you were
to start
leading.
the season,
Yeah.
right? So I'm always thinking about that. It's always kind of, it's like that going into the playoffs
Mm-hmm.
for hockey.
Yeah, you're stepping up.
You're stepping up, and then of course it's probably going to be a success because I'm going to make it a success, and then after that, then the next one will come and it'll be more comfortable,
Mm-hmm.
and then you start growing a business around that reputation
Yeah, for
and that
sure.
repetition, right? And then it's smooth sailing.
Yeah.
So
And so that's operational side. I mean, we touched a little bit on referrals and
yeah,
having good relationship.
yeah.
What about the client acquisition and customer side? Like how do you find people to do work for? And where do you see that growing? Like where's your, I guess, your unlock over the next couple of years?
Well, the one thing with turf is it's a non-reoccurring revenue business.
Mm.
At the core, it's non-reoccurring revenue. It's not like you go to, unless somebody wants more turf at their house, your hope is that that big ticket is a one-time shot.
Yeah.
So with that, it's adding a maintenance and service division. So as turf becomes more popular, we'll service other people's turfs. We'll repair botched installs by less experienced installers.
Yeah.
Which is a huge market.
Yeah.
And so from that side of things, it's like structuring the business in a way that you just kind of get that reoccurring person. Maybe they're on a quarterly maintenance program, every other, half year maintenance or a once a year program.
Mm.
Where we get most of our customers though, it's through, in general, we get subbed in on work. So
Okay.
landscapers,
B2B stuff.
yeah, business to business stuff, where we succeeded on a job and then they liked it and then they brought us again. Like our biggest landscaping partner, I met him at the Chevron gas station when my truck was still yellow.
Yeah.
And he pulled up. We're both filling up the tank, and I was kind of ignorant at the time. I didn't know anything about meeting landscapers or meeting business partners. I said, hey. He actually came and gave me a compliment on my truck. Maybe he was being sarcastic, like nice truck. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
But then I said, oh, I'm starting this company. Here's my business card. We only do synthetic grass. And that's when we were building the big putting green on Abbott Street. So
Mm.
he drove by a couple times, and I'd wave at him, say, "Hey, dude, like
Yeah.
nice to see you again."
Yeah.
He let me do the seams on a complex project they were doing at the end of season. Well, now um, we're doing a 4,000 square foot install for them in 2 weeks
Yeah.
for probably one of the highest end homes, top 10 home being built at the moment on Lakeshore.
Yeah.
And they're entrusting us to do 300 feet of seams on a project that this relationship was built in a Chevron parking lot.
Yeah, pretty cool, eh?
And
Yeah.
then our other largest golf green that we're building, well, they're just so happen to be the landscaper on that site. They're able to at least vouch that we are good by our word
For
to
sure.
the general contractor. So to answer your question, a lot of our work is coming from people who have seen our work and trust us.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, you got word of mouth around town. If it's a B2C type job, somebody's neighbor saw us do the work, so they want us to do that. On the website, which needs to be rebuilt, but it functions as a landing page.
Yeah, for sure.
It's a landing page. I mean,
Yeah.
all of our I've built my website in a way that it reflects my portfolio, because the 40 jobs I have not had time to post on the website are going to get posted.
Mm-hmm.
And when a customer now says, I have a 300 square foot front yard, what can you do for me? I'm going to send them 10 projects I've completed with 300 square foot front yard done with this SKU.
This is exactly what we've done.
Yeah. So
like
we're building it to show our portfolio, not just a gallery where you show your best 10 projects. We're going to show every project we've ever done. Even that 30 square foot job we did at Ocasa. Remember that one? Tiny little front yard. I post that as part of our.
Is that a little much? Like, I'll push back on that. Like, I think if you throw everything at once, like it's hard to digest, especially if you're someone like, I'm going to the website. Like, if you look at some of the analytics on this stuff, like people are on your site for maybe 10 seconds.
I guess for me, I want them to show that I've done this work and I've done the reps. So when they see 100 projects and I've got a scoreboard on the side that says how many linear feet of seams that I've done, that's kind of the next stage.
Okay.
Running when you're
more
done
of a volume count.
Yeah, it's like, okay, so when you've been in business for 1 year, you can say, oh, I've done 10 projects. It's a little bit different than it's like, oh, we've got 100 projects that we've done and counting, right? So now it's kind of a credibility thing, right?
So a lot of reputation, a lot of meeting people, like,
and then people looking on Google. I mean, 5-star reviews go a long way.
Yeah, for
and
sure.
They see our Google reviews. Big thing in Kelowna is obviously we've got our rant and rave culture on Facebook where people say, I'm looking for a turf guy. And then, people back you up. That kind of stuff is great. But at the same time, my website, it does have the function to tell somebody the price of a job before I even visit them.
Yeah, you can quote anything out, right?
The other day, somebody found me online through a referral. They went on the website, they filled in how much square foot they're going to be. It gave them an approximate price. So I called her and I talked to her, and it just was too much. That was actually a good situation for me because I didn't have to spend my Saturday driving to their house, measuring their yard if the ticket price was not going to be achievable.
Yeah.
So, just people coming inbound naturally to the website. Like I said, we're the next phase is potentially toying around with more sponsored ads. Like all my competitors, if you go on Google right now, have a sponsored ad.
Yeah.
Not all of them have full 5-star reviews and stuff, so people can see through that. And some people now just scroll past sponsored ads. So it's everyone
because they know it's there.
Right. But if you're ignorant,
I'm
sure it probably works. The big thing now is our lawnmower buyback program. We have an ad prepared for that. That's probably the rollout of
talk about that briefly.
Meta ads.
That campaign, because I think that's a pretty cool sales pitch.
So with a lawnmower buyback program, it's something that no one's ever done in the turf space. We're literally putting our money where our mouths are for low maintenance. So we're offering customers to essentially buy back their lawnmower at over MSRP in many cases. So for every 250 square feet or for 250 square feet or greater lawn, you get $250 and 45 cents a square foot.
Okay.
Up to 1,000. And what we achieve there is we're essentially buying back their time by buying back their lawnmower and installing synthetic grass in their yard.
It's almost an anchor, like it's one of those things like, oh, I got this lawnmower sitting in the shed that, what am I going to do with this thing, right? It's just cleaning house.
An aspect of convenience to us buying the lawnmower, so they don't have to get rid of it.
Yeah.
But it's really to our, our phrase is, we buy back your time.
Yeah.
And it's to show people that there's better things to do with their time. So like, with our ad, we show them a new to-do list.
Yeah.
Things that they could do when they're not cutting the grass. And it's the type of client that would appreciate a campaign like that.
Yeah.
Is somebody who values their time and is willing to pay us a premium to do a fantastic job in their yard. And it doesn't even matter if we paid it $2,000 for their lawnmower. It's a function of square footage, so we'll get that money back anyways, because it scales very efficiently. And I've done the math. I know how much it's not a discount. We're just buying back time, but that's that's our new campaign. So we're not actually going to give formal discounts. We're simply just buying back time.
Yeah.
And customers can choose to appreciate that ingenuity or not.
Yeah. And that's gone pretty well. I mean, like, so far on the rollout.
Yeah, the rollout was fantastic. We spent a lot of money at the home show, more than we'd done ever.
Home show, trade show.
Yeah. Which, to follow up on your earlier question, doing trade shows, we've gotten lots of business from home shows. Sometimes they're a hit, sometimes they're a miss. We did 2 home shows last year. One generated like $4,000 worth of revenue. The other one was 55. Right. We've done a variety of things, but you can't, the moral of the story is you can't succeed if you don't at least put yourself out there. If I didn't put myself in the trade show, well, I don't know how good it could have been or could not have been.
You would never know. You have no data to work with. You try it, right?
So I think moving forward, maybe we'll do more trade shows too, just to showcase what we're doing. Once we finish a couple of these, bigger projects, I think really, quite honestly, it's really about branding. Yeah. It's now we have a brand to share, and making sure people see the quality of our work, and it's gonna be a lot less word of mouth. Yeah. A lot more inbound versus outbound. We might be toying with some door knockers.
Yeah, I was gonna say, what's your Octane strategy? Getting out there paid.
Well,
paid version of advertisements. Yeah, door knockers,
online,
media,
yeah.
trade shows.
I think the strategy, to be honest, I don't know what you're talking about with Octane.
Okay, I'll elaborate. It's like it's your extra boost, right? So I think every business with a good reputation, assuming that you've done a good job, will get referrals, will get business from other businesses, will grow organically at a pretty sustainable rate.
Right.
Where do you differentiate from everyone else? Obviously, your reputation and having a good review history and having good clients.
How do we get that multiple?
How do you get ahead of everyone else? Yeah, like, what's your multiplier there?
I think we're building some systems right now to enable us to quote quicker.
Speed to lead. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we haven't had a single change order within scope ever. So, and I stand behind my quotes, and that's because I'm meticulous with every input that goes into a job. I've now got enough data to essentially train some software to very quickly spit out a price that's not just, it's $10 a foot, because there's installers out there that do that, and I get calls every day by some landscaper that says, hey, how much should I tell this person for this install? And then I'll just tell them, it's like $15 a foot, because I kind of know this is what I would be willing to do that for, but I can't be married to that price, because they need to let me go on site and quote out the job. And once I got my measurement, typically in my Mosher measurement, I'm able to then give them almost 100% certainty that this is the price. Yeah. And moving forward, it's going to be the ability to quote with certainty without leaving the property, and ultimately close the job within 24 hours of us quoting. Yeah.
And instead of going here, getting an inquiry, going to the job site,
I think
going back.
I think at the same time, having people who can be on site while I'm going and doing quotes is going to be very important, because the speed of delivering a quote can make or break a sale to the point where I got an inquiry this week through my website completely organically, which I was like, man, this is great. I didn't pay anything but have good Google reviews. And the guy said, I read your reviews. Looks like you do great work. Turns out his wife was responsible for some of the decisions, and she must have been really deep down the road with some other contractors. I was supposed to meet him today. Yeah. And I hadn't been able to even get there yet to be honest, he didn't give me the authority to show up at 4:30, but he told me on Fridays that's going to be the time where you can do it, or Mondays. So, and I was talking to him on Wednesday. Well, he messages me today when I followed up to say, hey, are we going to be doing something? Oh, we decided to go with another contractor. So I didn't even get to visit the property.
You didn't even get there yet. Yeah.
And they chose another contractor. So I need to be able to, in situations if somebody's really hot, leave site, go quote the job as the, sales guy.
Yeah, you need to be quick
and be fast. So I think just by training more guys to manage without me, I'll be able to screw off and go win some more work.
Yeah.
There's so many other things that I can be doing if I'm able to step away from the job site at least.
Right? Yeah, it's just getting up the leverage chain, right? Going from here to here, and then everything that you're doing, you're involved in higher leverage activities. What does that mean? I'm involved in activities that are going to give me more operating leverage in my business when I do them, rather than doing these things that could be done by someone else. Like if you're going to be operating, and I think this is for any business, but if you're operating and you're doing the things that you could hire someone else to do for $20 an hour, you're actually taking revenue out of your business by essentially paying yourself, right?
It's a tough one, because when you're a new business and a small business and you have all your money tied up in equipment and revenue.
Yeah. It's that cash flow.
You start to do things.
Yeah.
You start to be very short-sighted. You start to do things that, you could probably hire somebody else, but you didn't have any money. So you did it yourself.
Yeah.
And that's a tough one, is like when you don't have money to buy back your time, what do you like? It's like, I'm not gonna whereas now sometimes I'll call an employee and I'll say, okay, you want to come by and help me clean my garage or whatever it is. Those are just times where it's like, I could probably be making money elsewhere.
Yeah.
But like in the early days, like when you're so thin and you're just job to job, it's tough, because it's like, I don't have money to get somebody to do something. I'll just do it myself.
Yeah.
When it's like, maybe I could have just won a couple more jobs while I paid them $20 an hour. That trade-off is something that, it's a flip of a coin. You have to take the risk. You're like, okay, I'm just gonna let the guy do his thing and I'm gonna go and sell. That's I think that's
when you gotta grow.
Yeah, it takes time.
It's
getting to some scale
to get there. What about the the growth? Really briefly touch on where you'd like to be. So I think we just talked about where you are, where you are now, where you'd like to be, just revenue wise, and we'll throw what does that look like on a local and national scale? Like, what is your reputation?
I think, actually, quite frankly, this year I do not want to make more revenue.
No,
I want to make more money.
Not more revenue. Okay. Yeah.
We jumped up so quickly last year without improving our operations that there was it was not manageable. Like, it was not feasible to do this year after year after year.
But if you were not operating, hypothetically, and you had a crew, right? And you're higher leverage, could you do more revenue?
Yeah, we could.
Yeah.
We definitely could. There is certainly demand for our services that we could do more revenue, but I also don't want to chase revenue if the profit for that job ain't there. I've made the mistake a few times, and I don't know how people are making money in certain jobs where you run the numbers and you're like, okay, I'll just do the job. I need to keep the guys busy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Where basically when you're done the job, you're like cursing the job name. You don't really want to be doing that. When I say I don't want to make more revenue, I just want to be more smarter with the jobs we take on. But being able to be more, articulate the value we bring to a job site, so that you get paid for what you're worth, right?
Yeah.
And now that we have more reputation, we can do that.
You just want better quality. Yeah, better. If you scale on good quality,
So when I say I don't want to make more revenue, I also want to just fine tune the operations right now, because next year, if my operations are set up properly, got a couple guys trained, I'm coming in to still do strategic installs, make sure their quality is good. Now I could probably double. But if my operations don't get there and I'm not able to run efficiently and have the right SOPs in place, we're never gonna then double.
Mm.
We're gonna continue to slog it out.
Yeah.
And so for this year, it's really just about uh, operational efficiency.
Yeah. I think you need to get your hands off
Yeah,
a lot of the work,
yeah, and
to be honest.
my skills are in seam work and precision cutting
Mm-hmm.
and building, quality, golf greens that aren't just hacked together. So if that's the only thing that I do,
Yeah.
and my guys like they know how to dig out a yard, they know how to prep base within 95%. So I'll come in there, okay, you know, and at some point I'm gonna tell them, okay, I'm not gonna be inspecting the base on this one. You better be good.
You better be good.
Like,
You have to trust.
right?
It's
So
like,
and
but
we're
you
starting
can, but
we're
you have
starting
to.
to do
Yeah.
I'm starting to, because I'm so detail orientated, the one thing I've had to learn is how to step back a bit and
Mm-hmm.
and just take a breath and let somebody else
Pick it on.
do their
Yeah.
thing. And at the end of the day, like when it comes to training employees, like I'm here to build a company that people don't want to leave.
Yeah.
That's the point of it,
Yeah.
right? So
Yeah,
so
for sure.
so if you train your guys and you pay them well, give them some ownership in terms of maybe a physical ownership, or at least so they feel that they're belonging into
They're part of-
something.
Yeah.
Um, then they maybe want to stay. So like in our off seasons, we're wanting to um, we did our first golf simulator install this year,
Mm-hmm.
helped do all the turf. So moving forward, that's a division of the business that I'd like to expand. My expectation is somebody in the company says, you know what, I'm going to take the time to learn a little more about this, and I want to lead our golf simulator division. Okay, so now I'm happy they want to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe their pay is going to go from $30 an hour to 45.
Yeah.
Right. So you want to make more money, then you show some leadership,
Initiative.
and then we can work together on that. And now it's a very different thing.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas, in the past, I was a little more anxious about training,
Yeah.
maybe selfishly, because you don't know who these people are.
Yeah. Oh, for
right.
sure.
So
Yeah.
a new employee coming in that you don't really know the guy yet, it's tough because it's like you've spent so much time learning a skill. And then they can then compete against you in theory.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, do they deserve to learn all the things right
Mm-hmm.
away? No. Do
Yeah.
they deserve to learn a few tasks and know how to do them well, and then they can show how to do those tasks and then get promoted, then learn a new skill?
Yeah.
I think yes. Right.
I think it just goes back to like there's no version of a scalable business
Yeah.
that you have to train your guys.
Right.
And there's always going to be that
Right.
fear.
But
I think you have to size people up fairly
no business
quickly
teaches everyone everything.
at the beginning,
At
right?
the
Of
beginning,
course
right?
not.
So-
And
so it's
it
just-
comes with time, right?
and-
You're never going to figure that out
Right.
right away.
And that goes
Yeah.
into firing people.
Yeah.
That's something we've never done, ever.
Hmm.
So, we should have done that.
Mhm.
Okay, put it that way. There was people that should have been let go very early on, and that we were lenient with.
Mhm.
So
So you did eventually let
yes,
people go.
yes,
Okay.
but we didn't. We've never been in a situation where we've had people, this wasn't the right work for them, and it was a blessing because we didn't have to actually let them go. But
Mhm.
there were people that probably they were physically capable of doing the work, and we kept them on because we were simply too busy to let them go.
Yeah.
And that was a learning lesson where you need to learn how to
You have size people up fairly quickly,
Yeah.
right? And get rid of
yeah.
waste. Yeah.
And I think
Yeah.
moving forward, I mean, we've done enough work that we can be a bit more choosy with who we bring on,
Mhm.
right? Because we'll find another guy,
Mm.
right? Where when you're first starting out and you're just like anyone, now you've built enough reputation that they know they're going to work for you, that they have to be at their top, right? And that's
Yeah.
what we're expecting.
You do. Yeah.
Like
for sure.
now moving forward, like with your brother, I'm going to expect a certain caliber of work, a certain level of punctuality. And before we would kind of let certain things slide because it was convenient.
Mm.
Now
Yeah.
it's
Well, I talked
you
with
know.
Dan Martell's CEO Todd, which
Mhm.
someone you met
Yeah,
briefly. Actually,
that was fun.
that was a funny story when I won't get into it, but the first time you met, this guy was out of breath, could not have the most important conversation he wanted to
Yeah.
have, but
Sucking wind.
he's sucking wind. But one of the things that he said that yeah, whatever time I could get with him, like, let me pick this guy's brain over 20 minutes that I had. What do you look for in talent? How do you continue to find A players and high quality talent? And what do you do about firing? So what he said is a lot of people, like, to his point, Dan's got a pretty phenomenal brand.
Right.
And the brand that they're sitting, like, that does attract a lot of really high
Right.
quality people.
Right.
One of the things that they struggled with at the beginning was hiring people. What he does is he sits down with someone, hey, here's where you are, here's where you need to be. You've got 30 days or you're gone.
Yeah.
And if they don't meet that mandate,
Yeah.
you're out.
And I mean,
Right.
the equivalent for that in mine would be, okay, we need you to be able to cut turf.
Yeah.
And I'm going to give you the tools. I'm going to give you the knives. I'm going to give you those pieces of turf over there, and you're gonna practice.
Mhm.
And if you don't practice, it's obviously just time to, if I'm going to get to that point with
Yeah.
people, then yeah, you got to, let them prove themselves. And if they can't, then they can't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they got to get there for sure.
Yeah.
What about the personal side, and where do you see this time going? So you're going to get a lot of time back, hopefully, this year by getting out a lot of the operations and the being on site and making sure everyone is in line, right? Where do you want to spend a lot of that time now?
Well, I think with my girlfriend,
Mhm.
like I'm at the age, I'm 30 years old,
Mhm.
turning 31 this summer. I'm needing to get prepared for the next phase of my own life. So if I was to continue to just, be in this, this, hamster wheel,
Yeah.
I'm not going to get to that
No.
stage in my life where I want the freedom to, let's say, even have a kid, for example, right? So that's something I think for me is more, I mean, I parents have a boat. I went on the boat one time last summer.
Yeah.
That's not a good stat, right? Like, that's not a good stat,
Yeah.
right? So just more time with my family.
Yeah.
I think I also have another business that I run with my family. So a big part of the next phase is now running more than one business.
Mhm.
And I think that's kind of the next step,
Mhm.
So yeah, time is money.
Yeah, and I think the whole point of building a business is I want to build a family, I want a life.
Yeah.
If you don't have the affordability, I think that's one of the hardest things that I cannot come to grip with of being a lockdown employee is you've got a family, you can't really take time off. Like, you're there, you got to clock
Right.
in no matter what.
Right.
Like, the part of doing that, the whole point of taking this risk and doing all that stuff is buying that freedom, right? You love what you do,
Yeah.
so you're going to keep doing it, and you love business. Like, this
Yeah.
mindset, it teaches you to actually enjoy the work that you're doing because you get to see the on the front end, the result.
Yeah.
But what's the point of all this if you can't buy back that time to build a family and to build
Yeah.
a personal life, right?
Yeah. Well, the hope is that we can automate some of our processes
Yeah.
and just be more efficient.
Yeah. What about this? Like, this, I'm going to come back to the sales side because I want to know more about this. Like, do you see more of that time that you were spending on site
yeah.
going towards
Okay.
sales and like maybe even a
Yeah.
crew on the
Yeah.
sales side
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
closers?
Yeah. Well, I'm always going to be probably the closer, I think. Like with the type of client we want,
Mhm.
I should be the closer.
Yeah.
I
I would
say
push back. It's teachable. It's absolutely
yes,
teachable.
yes,
You bring in a guy who's
yeah.
closing $100,000 deals, I promise you, he will figure it out.
I think
Yeah.
the hope is we're at a scale where we can have, I guess, maybe a closer.
Yeah.
And maybe I'm just looking too close in the near future.
Mhm.
But yeah, I think having a little more time to focus on sales,
Mhm.
building more relationships with key stakeholders in the area, developers, architects, major landscape companies.
Yeah. A lot of business to business growth.
I think
Yeah. Okay.
that's probably the next phase is that level of
Mhm.
business development. Is this really where that's where my company's going to go from, say, 400 grand revenue to
4 million.
Well,
Just throw it out there.
yeah, I don't know.
10x. Yeah.
I don't know if I could do that in this market, only
Mhm.
serving this market.
Yeah.
I think that the turf industry is huge. Um, I think it's a great industry to service in some way.
Yeah.
So I am ideating ways in which I would do that
Yeah.
um, from Kelowna while enjoying life here.
Yeah.
Um, but the only way to scale in this industry, if you're only servicing it locally, is doing more jobs,
Yeah.
and that's very linear.
Yeah, for
I
sure.
guess maybe you buy bigger machines, so then okay, you can have a little bit, but it's
Hmm.
very a function of time.
Yeah.
It's not like on other industries where you could with add one guy do three more jobs.
Yeah.
This
Mhm.
is as of now,
At least on the operational
on the
side.
operation
Yeah.
side, very linear. So
Yeah. Do you see like a world where maybe you're living here. I know you want to live here and you like Kelowna, but you have parents in Vancouver, presence in Toronto, Montreal. Like, do you see other markets
I guess
and the
if I
brand
was
moving
in a
there?
franchise situation where
If you were franchising it?
I
Okay.
was then having people come to me as their like leader,
Yeah.
and then you train them in other markets. I think there is value, quite honestly, in probably rolling up a bunch of top installers, and
Hmm.
then they all are a part of a bigger brand.
Yeah.
I think that's where people kind of like put their differences aside and say, okay, we're
Hmm.
going to grow a big brand
Yeah.
of like top turf companies, right? Like versus me, there are synthetic grass franchises out there that
Yeah.
like are in the States where like they
Like a Southwest Greens or yeah.
well, there's a company called like Waterloo Turf, and
Mm.
I think they're trying to find a new like instead of taking somebody who's like very trainable and building that brand that way,
Yeah.
or they're very highly already they're already trained, they're training people in other markets. That would be one way to do it as well,
Mm.
where you find people and you train them how to install turf, and then they buy through you, and that would probably be the one way to really scale it up.
Yeah. Yeah, you could acquire, I guess you're like assembling the Avengers of the
Yeah,
turf
yeah,
industry.
that's
Be pretty
you
cool.
know,
But
because right
yeah.
now everyone's very much an independent contractor.
Yeah.
They're an
Hmm.
independent turf installer.
Mm.
There are people who are part of networks, like they install under a certain dealer
Mm.
or whatever, like a certain brand of turf they put in. But like in very few cases do you have like people that are part of like there are instances where they are part of a larger brand, but most of the people are there buying turf and they're their own turf company.
Hmm.
Whatever Jared's turf installation
Yeah.
and Bob's turf installation, they're not necessarily Synscape of Vancouver or
Hmm.
Synscape of Calgary.
Yeah.
It's very different that way. And who knows, maybe there's an opportunity.
At some point. Yeah. I want to touch a little more on the personal side, I think, before we go.
Okay.
Like knowing a lot of business people, I think, really struggle with that. And there's an idea out there that you need to have this work-life balance, which I think is full of crap because I don't think it truthfully exists, especially in the beginning.
Definitely not in
To
the
me, it's a
beginning.
pendulum.
Yeah.
It's going to swing this way, and then you're going to swing this way.
Hmm.
You need to have that movement.
Yeah.
Like, how do you balance two businesses, everything going on here, with maybe having a family and what the next step in that side of your world looks like?
I think it's got to be through time management, building like processes that are repeatable and trainable.
Yeah, absolutely.
And um, I mean, definitely those two. And then layered on top of that, maybe being with somebody that's on the same page and supports that
Hmm.
mission is very important. And I think time management processes like who you're like maybe romantically involved
Who you're
in,
with, yeah,
and
it's a huge part of it.
just trusting maybe other people,
Mm.
to step up, right? That's probably it. And then I mean also I guess is if you set a goal
Mm.
and you achieve the goal, is that something you just want to maintain, or it's okay, I guess we're going to scale this thing up again and then I'm going
Yeah,
to have no time, like
yeah.
whatever, like it's that what is the next, or where are
Hmm.
you satisfied? I don't know, some people are never satisfied.
Yeah.
um some people, they're happy with a fairly comfortable life, right?
Where are you satisfied? When?
When?
Maybe is a better question.
I think when am I satisfied? I think ultimately it has to do with financial freedom to a certain extent.
Mm.
And that's a slippery slope if you just have an expensive taste, right?
Mm.
You never have, you're just keeping, right. But I think,
Your taste goes
yeah,
with your
yeah,
revenue.
yeah,
Yeah.
right. So,
Yeah, for
so
sure.
I think where am I satisfied? I think just the ability to um, take a weekend away,
Yeah.
you know, I, I don't think you ever like, I mean, everyone has their like work all the time or whatever. You got to enjoy what you're doing,
Mm.
right? So, um, that's where the work-life balance doesn't exist
Mm.
because if you actually like for me with building the golf greens,
Mm.
if I was running two companies and then I started doing golf greens more as a hobby, and I'm enjoying it
Mm.
and getting paid to do it, that's cool.
Yeah.
Like that would be very satisfactory.
Mm.
Um, so you just got to enjoy what you're doing because it's a bit of an art.
Yeah.
For me, it's an artistic outlet. Like when you're building something like
Yeah. You
a
get to
golf
put
green, right?
your mind in
Right.
this, like you're
But at the
painting.
same time, like when you
Avenue.
are building like a really big lawn, like we did a project this past year, it's like 3,700 square foot, and we didn't use any laser levels, and we just eyeballed the whole thing and just
Mm.
graded it perfectly with a rake. That to me was fulfilling.
Mm. Yeah.
It could have been done probably better.
Yeah.
I thought that
You
was like,
enjoyed it?
man,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
we finished the project and
Love what you do, right?
and
So,
and
yeah.
it was a huge success. The client's happy. The review was 5 stars, and you're like, wow, like there's not a lot of people around here that would be able to grade out 3,700 square
3,600.
feet of
Yeah.
turf
Yeah.
without some other assistance, and we're just with a rake and then a couple little levels here and
Yeah.
there, and then
Yeah.
that's it. So
Hmm.
yeah,
Love what you do,
you gotta enjoy what you're doing.
for sure. Yeah. Well, Jared, pleasure having you on, man.
Yeah.